right. Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Anna.
And I'm Jamie.
And we are sitting here on Mount Olympus. Today is Friday, July 20th, 2018. And I wanted to ask my husband some questions today. So let's
All right.
spring some on him and see what he comes up with tonight. So I'm going to start with a doozy. I want to ask you, and we'll see where it goes from here. What does the divine feminine mean to you? Not just
Wow.
feminine, the divine feminine.
What does the divine feminine? Wow, I better not get this one wrong.
Okay.
Well, let me start by building a base and making a comparison. Okay?
Perfect.
Of course, we know that feminine in and of itself could be a gender, could be a quality, could be, a certain mannerism. It is said that the human personality has over 4,000 plus different characteristics, and feminine is one half. And we'll say that masculine is the other half. But divine feminine, that's a very different question. Because to me, the divine feminine embodies all the love, all the beauty, all the softness, all the glory of motherhood, the miracle of motherhood, and that is obviously taking it to another higher level other than just feminine qualities.
Right.
And so divine also, we got some repellers behind us.
Cool.
But divine also gives a intonation of godliness or goddess. And so the divine feminine embodies not only the personality of the feminine, but also the progressiveness of motherhood, the care of motherhood, the love of motherhood, the compassion of motherhood, and wrap that into a freaking awesome goddess that controls the creation, or the ability to control and nurture and love all creation.
Okay.
Okay? Is that a good base?
That's a good base.
Okay.
Okay, so I would ask, would you call someone a divine feminine who is really inspired and really in touch with their intuition, very nurturing, very loving, but scared all the time?
Certainly there has been, in my opinion, there has been an aggressive overbalance of the masculine in almost every religion and culture, because so many of our history has kind of shut down, or
So not a balance, and out of balance.
complete out of balance.
Right.
Because they have shut down the feminine part, but the divine feminine, as you're...
Well, real quick, I just want to say, is the masculine bad then? Or...
it's not bad.
Okay, so tell me some of the good qualities first. We'll talk about some of the good qualities of the masculine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, certainly some of the good qualities are that purport with masculinity is protection, security.
Okay.
Perhaps rules and regulations, more of a base of a structure.
Which can be good if it's not out of balance, at least.
And
what about probably one of the things that I would have said first about a guy is opposite of scared.
Yep, obviously, and that can be taken out of balance too.
What is that?
Which is ego, cockiness.
No. That is not the opposite of scared. That is very scared. The ego is terrified. The ego is utterly terrified. The opposite of scared is confidence.
Okay.
Confidence is a masculine, not something women don't have. We have lots of confidence, but that is considered an assertiveness. Confidence, those things are masculine traits. So even a very feminine, very inspired and nurturing woman might not be aware of her own power if she doesn't.
Especially if
those inner masculine qualities too.
Especially if that feminine has been shut down in early childhood or throughout periods of a feminine's life experiences. So and that would, even though those qualities of intuition and compassion and loving and nurturing, those are much more embodied in the feminine and certainly the divine feminine. Yeah. But when one half is out of balance, like the divine masculine is out of balance, or the masculine, it could definitely shut down or impede upon the feminine.
So I'm going to just reiterate, the ego is terrified. The ego is utterly terrified, and the ego, because it's terrified, lashes out all the time and is very reactive.
All the time.
Most of the time it's just freaking rude. The ego's rude. And the ego tries to make other people and other things, and especially the other sex, or the other qualities. I don't want to say the other sex, because ego exists in both male and female. And
feel inferior.
But it wants to make them feel inferior. Because they don't like when people realize how individually incredibly powerful they are. The divine feminine does, and even the divine masculine is in balance enough for that, but the out of balance masculine really gets a little bit, his ego gets scared when other things realize how powerful they are.
Right.
So sorry, I just wanted to...
No, and culture after culture and history has repeated itself many, many times, where it has proven that the feminine is the progressive one. They're the ones that can actually make a home out of a house and can make a meal out of food, or and I'm not just saying boys and girls here, or men and women. I'm just saying the qualities. But when the masculine is out of balance, because they're the protector, because they're bigger, stronger, obviously that force sometimes squashes and puts down and makes the feminine scared. And if girls or the feminine are told, that they're not this or not that, or to not share their opinions, or that they shouldn't speak up, obviously throughout one's life, the divine feminine or the feminine will either suppress or even lose touch with those incredible qualities.
They'll shut down those qualities, don't they? And even the men do that same thing, or the masculine does that same thing, because they have those qualities too.
Sure.
You were born with intuition. You were born with inspiration. You were born with a connection to the divine. You were born with these qualities that would be considered. So just to be a little side note, as far as love our motorcycles, I feel like every video we have at least one. So, in relation to chakras, we have 7 of our main chakras that are within our body system. There's a lot more chakras than that, but the bottom 3 are associated with masculine qualities. The top 3 are associated with feminine qualities, and then they meet together at the heart, which really brings together the balance of the feminine and the masculine. Now, if you're really, really in touch with these 3 chakras, but you don't know how to govern your bottom 3 chakras, then it's not to say that you're not incredible for having that level of inspiration or things, but you might not be able to do much with it because you're based in fear coding. Whereas if you're really, really confident and assertive, and you've got all of these incredible lower chakra qualities, but you're not really in touch with the spirit, and you're not really in touch with your own intuition, then you can lose touch with yourself, lose touch with the heart of yourself, and be too concerned about other people's expectations.
Right.
So.
Right. I remember so many different times. I have 6 brothers and 4 sisters. So I remember so many times that church events or just different experiences where I had teams of divine feminine or feminine, and in almost every case that I can think of, whether it was my career or the military, where the divine feminine or the feminine was suppressed. And right now, one of the things that I've realized in my career and in my life is that if we would have had the qualities, not necessarily women or girls, but if we would have had the qualities that are more nurturing and more loving, the divine feminine could have changed a dramatic or played a dramatic role in not only my life, but in our communities, in our state governments, our world governments, and even our homes.
Wow, and you used to have quite the masculine empire. What would you say, knowing everything you know now, having gained everything, lost everything, having been through the ringer, and recognizing, in your opinion, how the wound of society most needs to be healed? What is your opinion as to how that needs to be healed now?
Well, the only way that it can be healed is the combination of light and love. And as we have learned in my experience, they are together.
But in direct reference, to the divine feminine, how does that need to be healed?
Well, that needs to be healed by allowing the love to do its magic. And part of that
emphasis on magic.
Yeah. And part of that magic is more loving, more nurturing, caring. I mean, even running into people on the street or the grocery store. Even
what about
kinder, more loving, more gentle.
It's not just that, though. I mean, people misunderstand what love is. They think it means to be nice all the time.
True.
They think it means to be to let people walk all over you and things like that. So it's not just being a misguided understanding of what loving is. It's releasing old fear coding. It's releasing both men and women, releasing the illusion of what they've been fed. It means to be strong, what it means to be balanced. Balance looks very different.
It is.
Than how we led to believe it looks.
Unconditional love is balance. And so the balance has to come from an equal portion of the masculine.
But is unconditional love always nice?
No. In fact, certainly unconditional love is not nice, because sometimes the truth is not nice, and sometimes the truth is hard, but unconditional love is truth.
Right.
And so sometimes, for me, it was very hard to sometimes hear the truth.
Right.
Even though it was carried by and nurtured by love.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people don't understand. They think that they love something because they say the words, or they have cravings for it. Like people say they love pizza or ice cream, or I love going to the movies. But the difference in unconditional love is what we call impersonal compassion sometimes.
Right.
So which means that as a father of 3 children from my first marriage, and Lucas in our marriage, and of course, we brought in another young man, Colton, and what I saw in an example of the divine feminine was how you not only treated Lucas, who is, you're the birth mother, and you're the only one that's raised him.
I built him with my body.
Entire life. It's one thing to treat a young child or an infant or a kid or a toddler, but I also saw you love my children with what we might call tough love. which means that you love them unconditionally, but you set boundaries and you hold to those boundaries. And
because I love them
because
so much.
you love them. And what I didn't realize before is maybe as a dad, sometimes I would sneak extra candy to them or let them get away with things because I wanted to be the cool dad.
Well, those things are not letting them get away with things. Sneaking them some candy is not that big of a deal. But letting them get away with stuff, probably not as loving as you thought it was.
And
may have been
right.
Cool.
And now I can see that there is, if the divine feminine followed her intuition, and if the divine masculine allowed her to follow that intuition, the vast majority of times we're going to have a harmonious situation.
Or if the divine masculine is in touch with his divine masculine, not just his divine or his masculine, but his divine masculine.
Yeah.
Let me finish my sentence.
Okay.
If he's in touch with his divine masculine, he's getting in touch with his own intuition, not not his partner's, not whether that be a man or a woman.
Right.
Once you're in touch with the divine aspects of yourself, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, it implies that you have brought a balance into it, where you can tune into your own intuition and your own confidence.
Right.
You can bring the security and you can bring the inspiration.
Both, and they're just different. The masculine has a different set of gifts, and the feminine has a different set of gifts. And it doesn't matter if you're both females or both males or male female. It doesn't matter what the gender is.
Nope.
But when those qualities are in balance, that's where the harmonious relationship is, or the divine marriage, or the divine.
It's inner balance. I mean, whether you're born with one set of genitalia or a different set of genitalia, you're still born with a combination of masculine and feminine traits, and you may have outweightedly masculine and outweightedly feminine, or vice versa, but you're not ever born with just one or just the other. Yeah. Despite whether you have a penis. Sorry.
Right. So I can see that the entire idea to allow the divine feminine to come back to balance has to be for the divine or the masculine to get rid of the ego.
And to honor.
Yeah, and to honor the divine feminine. And that, it's really easy to honor the feminine, the divine feminine, once the ego goes away. And if most
it's not even just that it's easy, it's natural.
It's natural.
It's the same as the woman honoring a divine masculine. It's hard not to be kind of awed by it because it's beautiful.
And the process is like tying your shoes. At first it's difficult. It was difficult for me because I was coded very egoic, and I was very...
Look at that dragonfly, it was doing backflips.
Coded very... that's the circus dragonfly.
It seemed like it at least. Maybe it wasn't, so it was going in circles.
Is to allow that ego to drop, and that natural factor that natural factor does make it easier because it's natural.
Right. So I sprung this one on him. He was not expecting me to talk about the divine feminine tonight. I'm sure he probably wasn't expecting it too far in the distant future, but wasn't expecting it tonight. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the divine feminine that I'm forgetting, or that?
Sure. Well, let me just add this. A month or so ago, I had a dream, and in that dream, I dreamt that I was a horse, a messenger, and you, which is love, and I represented the light in this dream. You were attached to me. We had a symbiotic relationship. And you were on my back. And what I realized at that moment was, for me to honor you, out of the countless times that I have seen you perform miracles with individuals across the world, miracles with people right here in our own community, but just doing things to make people feel good.
We're talking like energetic.
Yeah.
Miracles. I'm not walking on water.
What I realized was that if I were to release my ego and to be that protector, that messenger, there were going to be times where you, the divine feminine, might say, you know what, husband, this one's yours. You go do this one. But sometimes it's a different inspiration that the divine feminine says, okay, honey, I've got this one, let me off.
Well, it's ebb and flow.
It is ebb and flow.
Ebb? Wait, ebb? Flow.
Yeah. And that's the balance.
And
So.
speaking of which, one last thing that I want to throw in while we're talking about the divine feminine, because it's probably the number one thing I've been working on with this human, is learning how to go with the flow. We're all very much taught that things are supposed to be structured and rigid and planned out, and everything is supposed to be that way. But one of the most sacred ways to connect with the divine in your own personal way, not through me, not through him, not through anyone else, through your own self, is to learn how to go through the flow, or with the flow. It allows you to get a little bit more in touch with your own personal inspiration so that you hear the messages when they're being given to you. So I guess that would be my recommendation today, would be honor yourself, honor your own inner divine feminine, whether you're a male or a female, and certainly if you have been a male or a masculine who you feel like maybe hasn't honored the feminine, honor them.
Yep. All right, we're about out of time right now, so if you have any questions, send us an email, like, subscribe, and share.
Love and light.